I feel like if there's any time to get a library card, now is the time to do it. Hey everyone, so I'm sure, as most of you are probably aware, this country, specifically talking about the United States of America, is under a huge crisis, specifically when it comes to our libraries. I've always been a huge advocate of library usage, whether it's in person or online, whether you're checking out physical books or checking out ebooks, audiobooks, movies, or anything else that your library offers. I have always been a huge proponent of that. And I think that now more than ever, we have to be taking this seriously and getting our library cards, using our libraries, and finding more ways of incorporating them into our everyday lives, especially as readers. However, even if you're not a reader and you are interested in supporting your libraries, I think that this video can also be a really good resource for you, and I am so excited because I use my library every single day. I use the resources that my library provides every single day. It has become part of my everyday routine, and I honestly do not know what I would do without these three specific apps. So I'm going to be talking about these specifically. I'm not really going to go into like the politics of why libraries are being challenged, why books are being challenged, why libraries are currently under duress. I think that there are so many other resources for that, so I will link some things down below and definitely go check them out. They'll be in the description, but for now I really want to focus on these three most important apps that I absolutely love. So the first one that I want to talk about is Hoopla. And I absolutely love Hoopla so much. This is a really interesting app that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about when they talk about the resources that the library might provide for you. I know that Hoopla isn't available for everybody, so you will have to check out your specific library branch and make sure that they are partnered with Hoopla, because if they are and you haven't used it yet or you didn't know about it, you are missing out on so much. So basically Hoopla is an app that provides audiobooks, comic books, ebooks, movies, music, television, and so much more. I mainly use it for audiobooks. I feel like that's what I typically check out from Hoopla, but I have used it for literally basically every single thing on this list. The thing to know about Hoopla is that you will have around somewhere between like 5, maybe even 20 borrows per month. They don't roll over each month. You get 5 to 20 new borrows for each month, and you use them up every month and then you get new ones. And also the number of borrows that you get each month will be dependent on your branch and what kind of partnership they have with Hoopla. For my specific branch, I get 10 borrows per month, and that doesn't really sound like a lot, but honestly, most months I don't even end up using every single borrow that is offered. So it's actually not so bad. And I believe that for the most part, each borrow will last around like 20 to 25 days, I want to say. So you are able to use whatever you check out for quite a while. But this is the one I feel like I use the most, honestly. I absolutely love it. I also am pretty sure that the offerings will be different depending on which branch you are logged into. But I have found that the Hoopla app has probably some of the best options out there. They have a lot of really great audiobooks and a lot of really great like new releases. They're pretty on top of that. And then also for ebooks is the same thing. And also for movies, they have some pretty good options as well. Same for TV shows. And even when it comes to music, they have a lot of like the new music releases. You are able to borrow specific albums, which I think is really cool. I've actually never done this before, but I probably should at some point just to see how it works and see how it goes. But I think that Hoopla is a really great app. If you're gonna download any of them, I say go with this one because it has the most options. You're able to borrow audiobooks, ebooks, movies, TV shows, music. Like there's such a breadth of options that I feel like if you're gonna download any of them, make it Hoopla. It is so good. And if your library offers it, I feel like it's a must-have. The next one I want to talk about is one that I feel like is very, very popular, and I feel like most people know about it, and that is Libby. And Libby is similar to Hoopla in the way that it is really dependent on whichever branch you're a part of, and that is going to be determining what is offered to you. So I have found that Libby has a bit more of a limited option, mainly because with Libby, the actual branch, like library branch, has to be able to theoretically rent out each title, and they have to pay money for each title. Whereas with Hoopla, it's a little bit different. I feel like, you know, the library branches aren't necessarily paying specifically for each title that is available. But with Libby, it's definitely a lot more dependent on what the library branch wants to offer. So I have a couple of different library cards that are checked into Libby, and I feel like that's kind of the best way to do it. Depending on your state, you might be able to sign up for multiple library cards that are part of like different counties, or even some states have like state library cards. So I will also leave resources down below for you to check out. Depending on which state you're in, you might have a lot more options. And a lot of people don't know about that like maybe if you have like a major city in your state, they might offer a kind of like state library card, because I know for certain states like New York or California, they will offer library cards to people that live within that state, not necessarily within that county. So I think that that's really exciting and definitely something that you should be aware of. I do use Libby pretty often, but it's not my favorite interface. It's not my favorite, you know, library. I find that the Libby offerings are a little bit limited, even though I have some pretty good libraries near me. It's just like, for some reason, their catalogs are just not the best. So I don't tend to like immediately reach for Libby. I know that a lot of other people love it and swear by it, but for some reason, my counties just, it doesn't really mesh well. I think that one of the upsides to Libby is that you are able to request certain titles. For my specific county that I'm a part of, for some reason, they don't really let you request titles. It's really weird. I have tried to email them in the past and they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can't really request anything. I am able to kind of tag books as like notify me, but that's the extent of my ability to request titles. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but I know that it's different for other library branches. I've talked to people who are very easily able to request titles from their library. So I don't know if it's just like my specific area or like my specific librarians. I'm not sure. Maybe my librarians just get a lot of requests and don't really want to field so many of them, so they just like don't take them. But that's fine. I do like Libby. I think it's a good app. Usually if I can't find something on Hoopla, I will be able to find it on Libby, which I think is kind of the upside for this app. And I think that another upside for Libby is that technically there are kind of unlimited borrows. You do have like a cap on how many books you can have borrowed at a time, but once you return that book or once you return that title, you will be able to borrow something else. Whereas with Hoopla, you get those like say 10 borrows and that's it for the entire month. Even if you return a title, you can't get that borrow back. So you're a little bit more limited in that way, but I feel like it's kind of a trade-off. Like Hoopla has a better catalog, but limited borrows. Libby has a not so great catalog, but you have basically unlimited borrows. So it's just kind of like which one you would prefer, which one you like. I think that, at least for me, as somebody who reads a lot each month, it's kind of nice to have both. So if you are also like me and you read a lot of books per month, definitely make sure that your library has both and check them both out. And the very last app I want to talk about is Canopy. And this is specifically a movie borrowing app, which I think is so cool. I have used Canopy so much in the last year because in 2024 I had a personal mission of watching as like many movies as I possibly could in that year, and Canopy really helped me out with that mission, so I love this app. This is another one that has a limit on how many movies or TV shows or whatever you can borrow per month. Basically with the Canopy system, they give you tickets. I believe that my branch gives us 15 tickets per month, and each movie, TV show, whatever, has a certain amount of tickets that you can use to borrow the movie. So for example, the movie The Queen will cost me 2 tickets, and I'll get 72-hour access to this movie. But it does really depend on what you're watching on Canopy. Like say for this series, Middlemarch, you can watch the entire season for 5 tickets, and that season will be available to you for 5 days. So yeah, it really just depends, but I really love the selection of movies and TV shows that are on Canopy. It's so different, but Canopy's tagline is thoughtful entertainment, and I think that that really explains the type of titles that they provide on Canopy. It really is thoughtful entertainment, and there's just so many different interesting movies. I have so many movies that are saved on my watch list, like truly. If you could see them all, I'm gonna show you them on the screen. I have so many, and it's like my favorite pastime is to just scroll through Canopy and find movies that I've never heard of and that seem interesting, and then add them to my watch list. So yeah, I really love the Canopy app, and I also really love their customer service. I have needed to ask them questions so many times, and they're very active on social media, but they are also really quick to get back to you through email. So shout out to Canopy. I love you guys over there. You guys are doing some really great work. So if you are more of a movie buff, if you aren't really super into books, but you really want to be able to support your library, highly recommend Canopy. And I mean, also like, check out your physical branch of the library. You might be able to find some really great DVDs. That was literally how I would watch The Office or like Modern Family back when I was in high school. My parents didn't buy Netflix or anything like that, so I would go to the library and I would rent like the thick season-long DVDs of different TV shows that I was interested in watching. So I literally watched like basically all of Modern Family at that point, like when I was 2013, 2012-ish in high school, and I would just watch Modern Family on those DVDs. And there were so many other like movies that I would check out the DVDs from the library, especially like older movies that I couldn't really find anywhere else. My library almost always had a copy of those, so I am such a huge proponent of like, if you are a movie buff, if you like film, definitely use your library. They are such a great resource for any type of movie, whether it's like physical media or even online stuff like Canopy or Hoopla. And yeah, I feel like, you know, there's always going to be a way for you to be able to use the library resources. I mean, even for my branches, I know that we have so many things available. We have instruments available for borrow. We have passes to certain like state parks or state beaches or whatever. We have museum passes. We have all these kind of things that are absolutely free for you to check out and borrow, that don't have to do with books. So even if you're like not a reader, there's so many options for you when it comes to the library. And of course, every single location, every single branch is going to be different and have different offerings. But I know for me, where I live, they definitely have a lot of really great stuff for everybody to check out. So I just really think that now is a really important time to be supporting our libraries and using our libraries and being very good and thoughtful community members. So I hope that this video was helpful to you all. If you guys have any questions about Hoopla, Canopy, Libby, definitely let me know down below in the comments. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, Storygraph, TikTok. All the links and even more are down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!